Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 17th of July. So looking at the euro dollar first, and yesterday we ended up with a bullish pivot swing on the euro dollar, and this morning we've seen that trigger and it's pushing through at the moment. Whether it'll push a long way through, we'll see. I'm just looking to see if there's any divergence on the short term. Not really, no, it's not. I'm just going across at least two indicators I use. See if there's anything there, but it doesn't appear to be. Maybe a tad on the hourly here, and we may be seeing a reaction to that. It did get slightly overbought as this occurred, this little price action here, which could see it. We could see a repeat of yesterday. Effectively, we saw the run up early on. A bit of a retracement, looked like it was going to roll over, and then off it went again later in the morning. I do wonder if we're just going to see a continuation of this upside at the moment. It's broken its original trend line here. It's up to a major trend line from the bigger picture I'm looking at here on the dailies here. It's on a major trend line. If it breaks through that, it may well just be pushing back up towards the prior highs, maybe towards the R1. So it's erring short-term sort of bullishness with the high lows, high highs coming through here. It did it yesterday, as I said in the morning's update. They just managed to get a higher low confirmed through there, and it's done some more since. Now, to be on the bullish side of this, I need a half decent retracement. Need to look at how it comes back. If it comes back. If it doesn't, I think it's going to be difficult to get in. I don't want to be buying at these highs here at the moment. So we'll see how this moves through this morning. If it starts breaking through, apart from, you just got to watch the horizontal support, and there isn't a lot of distance in this. It looks more than it really is, but there isn't a massive amount of range in this market so far. If it starts rolling over, well, I'll look at a break of this trend line, but just need to, as I say, watch out for the horizontal support as well. It may just come into back to that 34 and bounce off that, so just need to be a bit careful. If it starts breaking beyond that area though, then it's a case of maybe looking at the original trend that was coming through and continuing on this daily basis. But as I've said for many a week now, it's could just chop in this range that I've highlighted. It may break out to the bodies, or even the highs here we saw towards 1765, maybe even the pitch up right into that where it ran into its bodies there, about 1790, 1800 sort of area, or above at some point. But as I say, bullish pivot swing at the moment, but a choppy old market it's been. Cable. So cable, we've got some key news out this morning. We've got the employment data coming out before that at 9 o'clock. Carney starts speaking, so I would expect a bit of volatility. The government just about managed to win its vote last night in the House of Commons on the white paper, the amendments to the white paper, and that looks like that's gone through with a 2-vote margin or something. It's pretty slim pickings there. 3-vote margin, let me stand corrected. So 3-vote margin. We'll see how that runs. But as I say, got Carney speaking at 9 o'clock. He's testifying. And then at 9:30 the important employment data. Now, as I said on the weekly update, the thing to watch for here is the average earnings index. It's sitting around about 2.5. Inflation is expected to come in at 2.6. Now, if this only comes in at 2.5, it might be a bit of a negative draw, bearing in mind what's expected. Now, of course, the inflation's run up on the higher fuel costs, etc., but all the same, it means that there's less money in the pocket and less money in the economy effectively to spend. The Exchequer's doing all right with the tax, but we're not doing so well as an economy in that respect. So that's at 9:30. Yeah, that's just about it there. Moving through. Also, technicals, best go through those as well, of course. It has got this sort of, had a decent spike up yesterday. It sold off and just came back to this area. With this news this morning, it may pitch up a bit further, but again, it's a case of trying to get into it. I've come right down to a 5 minute. You can see it's really, as with the euro, it was 10 minutes of movement that's really caused this move at this stage. Again, we've got this sort of trend line that runs below. If it was to start breaking that, maybe look at bearish pickings, but for now it's wait to see what happens post 8 o'clock. If we can get in on the coattails of a long, well, I'll run that back up, but with news today, it may be best avoided until post 9:30, and it may give us the idea of where to go with that. Dollar yen, may get a bit of a feel for the day with that after 9:30 actually with the pound. Dollar yen struggling at the moment. It has got the weekly pivot below it. It ended up with a bit of a pivot swing yesterday. Didn't manage to push up. It may, as I say, just come back to that weekly pivot towards that way. It's choking itself at the moment. Not really managed to do too much of. It's got this sort of very narrow wedge going in there, which is tightening. As I said, the weekly pivot's a fair bit underneath. Perhaps if it breaks the 60-minute 100 and breaks through the lows here, maybe that could be a fair target over the next day or so. May not be the absolute trend for this, but may just see a bigger correction. Aussie dollar's holding on to its gains again at the moment, so we're seeing this through. So it's all correlated. Little to say here apart from it's getting more bullish than bearish at the moment. It's in this sort of rising wedgy sort of pattern that's kicking in here. In the short term, we may get something that runs up. I mean, we've had 1, 2, 3 tests of that level now. It's run into its R1 as well. It's reacted to it, but still coming back for it again. Perhaps next time, if it gets beyond that point, it may become a little bit more bullish for a while. Canadian dollar, let's run through this. This is well, selling off, so it's strengthening against US dollar as well, so correlations running through there. At the moment it looks like it might sell off towards that daily 50 at some point, he says. It has put a lower high and confirmed on the 4 hourlies, a couple of lower highs and lower lows coming through there, so it's definitely in this downward trend at the moment. Really depends on how it sits out. There's a bit of divergence on the 60-minute here. It may get a bit of a correction from that, but that may just give opportunities to sell into at the moment. Just make sure it's got plenty of resistance as it comes back. And finally, that's it really. Actually, let's just run through the numbers here. We've got, as I said, news-wise today, we've already had the Aussie Monetary Policy meeting minutes. We've now got the coming up, the Bank of England Governor Carney speaking at 9 o'clock, 9:30. We've got the important average earnings and claimant count. Average earnings are the key factor there. If it pitches up a little bit, we could see quite a strong rally in the pound there. Of course, I've mentioned what happens if it drops a little bit or only comes in at 2.5, 2.6, 2.7. It could be okay. Later in the day, we've got some US data, and we've got which is pretty low key actually. I'm just looking at capacity utilization. It may create some volatility around 2.15, and we've got the Fed Chair Powell's testifying at 3 o'clock. So again, volatility may come with his testification, or whatever it is, when he testifies. There we go. Right, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.